In my video on the foot in the door technique, I talked about how the corona crisis was used by different countries to lead a number of trends. A few months later, I noticed a new trend that started in the Netherlands. As mentioned in the video about land in the Netherlands getting nationalized, the Dutch trend is to try different methods in order to eliminate the concept of private property. The nationalization of private farmland is not an isolated case, but part of a series of actions that push in the same direction. Different voices suggested that Ukrainian refugees will be hosted in private houses in this country, not as an act of charity, but as a new law, enforced by the authorities. While it could be dismissed as a radical proposal, the fact that this repeats in numerous sources indicates that this is the first stage of a new overturn window. So we got farming land nationalization and forcing homeowners to accommodate refugees, two different approaches towards ending private ownership of land. I wouldn't be surprised if more methods are used by this government in the near future. After this explanation of what the Dutch government is trying to achieve, now you can have a better understanding of what the farmers are fighting against. It's not just taxation to fight climate change, but something much bigger. To elaborate more on the situation, I'm going to use an example from sports. And let me say that I'm not really a fan of American football. Actually, I find it one of the most boring sports ever created. But it is a good allegory to explain what's going on. In an American football competition, there's a defending team and an attacking team. The attacking team tries to take the ball past the defense to the other side of the field. A defending team does not attack. It prevents the opponent from scoring by either gaining possession of the ball or by blocking the attacking team until it runs out of time. While these basic rules are quite simple, scoring is a lot harder than it sounds, which is why American football is slow and pauses occur quite often. The safest way for the attack to score is to make progress with cautious and wait for mistakes done by the other side. So going back to the conflict in the Netherlands, obviously the attacking team in this case is the government that aims to abolish land ownership, so it makes small steps on its way to the target. In order to get there, the government will use different strategies. One of the most clever ideas among them is the use of propaganda to convince the general public that their goals are aligned. This way, some of the players who think 0 moves ahead will join the attacking team and help it with scoring. To imagine how this looks like, think back of those who shouted that anti-vaxxers should be locked up back in the summer of 21. Another strategy that the attacking team can use is sabotaging the defense from the inside. I talked about how protests are being infiltrated in Israel, and this practice is likely to be adopted by other governments because it is so effective. The agents who take over the protest will direct the protesting group to fight against the wrong targets. The public's opinion will shift from supporting the farmers and their cause to encourage the use of force against them. On the other side of the field are the Dutch farmers who protect the next line that the attack tries to conquer. In American football, a defensive team does not go on offense, and in a similar manner, a farmer can't go to a parliament member and demand that he sells his property. The way farmers fight these decisions is by holding the attack for as long as possible. They know that once a line is crossed, it's nearly impossible to reverse the effects.